Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If today is your very first time of tuning in, you are highly welcome. And to all my returning subscribers, I am so glad you came back to watch. Thank you. So today on the channel, I'm going to be sharing with you how to make simple Moimoi, also known as beans pudding. So to start with, I have 3 cups of beans here. This is honey beans. It is popularly known as oloyin beans here in Nigeria, and I will be using these beans for today. It has already been picked, and I'm just going to pour everything inside this bowl. I'm going to add water to it, and I will start to squeeze it with my hands like this. So I just squeeze everything with my hands. I rub it together with my hands just to peel off the skin, because we are peeling off the skin here. So I rub everything together with my hands, and as you can see, the skin has started to peel off, so it should look like this. And guys, I think it's much faster if I use my hands, but you can actually use anything you prefer. You can use a blender, you can use a food processor, you can use mortar and pestle, you can use a grater, and it's just going to come out beautifully. But today I'm using my hands, and it's kind of faster. So once I'm through with that, I'm going to add water. Then I will now begin to rinse it. But because this bowl is too small, I'm going to transfer it back into a bigger bowl, mix everything together, and I'm going to start sieving the beans. I'm trying to sieve out the skin from the beans. So I'm just going to be repeating this process until all the beans are clean. So once the bean is clean like this, as you can see it, I'm going to transfer it back into this bowl. Right now, the beans is clean. Look at that. There are no more skin on it, and it is so beautiful. So I'm just going to add enough water, allow it to rest, because we are going to be soaking these beans overnight. Guys, another tip for you to get a beautiful Moimoi, is that Moimoi or akara, just soak the beans overnight. Don't rush it. If you are not that chance to soak it overnight, you can at least soak it for 4 hours, just to get rid of any chemicals or anything that might cause heartburn or stomach disorder after eating the Moimoi or the beans pudding or the akara, whichever you want to use it to make. So I'm just going to cover this with a lid, and it is good night. Here we are. This is the next morning, and look at our beans. Look at the top. It has begun to swell. The foamy area has begun to come on top of the beans. So I'm just going to mix this together. Then I will drain out this water, add another water to rinse it all over again. And over here are the peppers which I'm going to add. I have like 4 atarudo here, also known as scotch bonnet peppers, and I have some chili peppers here. Are these chili pepper? I don't know which kind of pepper these ones are, but I don't think they are chili peppers, but these are the peppers I can get. So I'm going to be adding a bulb of onion to it as well. So I'm just going to rinse everything, just make sure everything is properly clean. I'm going to pop them into my blender, add little water, cover it, and bring it to a blend. So after blending everything, I'm going to transfer it back into a bowl, and it should look like this. I added a little water to the jar to rinse the jar all together, and I'm going to pour everything inside the bowl, and I'm going to set that aside. So over here, I'm just going to show you the list of ingredients which we are going to use in making this moimoi. Over here, I have some salt, I have seasoning cubes, I have ginger powder and garlic powder. You can actually use the raw ginger, the fresh ginger and the fresh garlic, but I don't have that. All I have is the powdered one, so I'll be using ginger powder and the garlic powder, just a little bit. I also have vegetable oil. And for more sweetness, if you know me, you know I like to use 2 different kinds of onions for my cooking. I use the red onions and I like to use the white onions as well. So I've already blended the red onion with the beans. Now I'm going to be slicing this white onion for more deliciousness. And I have here a whole of fish. This is Erin's fish. It is such a delicious and sweet fish, but it has a lot of bone. You guys, if you do not know how to pick bones out of fish, I would not advise you to use Erin's fish, but it is a delicious fish. I'm going to cut this into pieces and boil it. So that's it for the fish. And I have the leaves here which we are going to use in wrapping our moimoi. So the fish has been cut. I actually cut it into 3 pieces, and I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt. I added ginger powder and garlic powder to it, and I'm also adding some fish seasoning. I will add water to cover it, cover the pot and put it on the stove. So once the fish is done, I'm going to take it off the heat and I'm going to bring it into a bowl like this. Look at the fish, it has been cooked and it's so beautiful. So I deboned it and I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to go back to the leaf, cut off the stem because I'm still going to use the stem, and I'll wash this leaf thoroughly. I'm trying to wash it, and I'm also going to remove the bad ones because there are bad ones in the leaves, and I'm going to put it on a tray to allow it to drain out, and just keep that aside. So to the stem, I'm going to cut the stem and I'm adding the stem right into the pot. I'm going to line this stem up inside the pot before I add water so that there will be enough space for me to arrange the wrapped moimoi into the pot. Or if you have a steam rack or you are using a pot that have a steam rack, it will be so perfect. But this is what I have and this is how I'm going to use it. So right now I went back to the bowl of blended beans. I'm going to stir everything together and I'm going to start to season it. So to season the blended beans, I'm going to start by adding in the ginger and garlic powder. As I add it into it, I begin to stir everything together. I'm also going to add salt. Then I'll add the diced onions. And I continue to stir together. And I'm also going to add the crushed seasoning cubes. I stir that in well. And I'm going to add the vegetable oil. And I continue to mix everything together. Then I'm now going to transfer in the deboned Erin's fish. Then I'm going to mix everything all together. So meanwhile, while I was blending the beans, I have already placed 4 eggs into the pot and I cooked that. I actually did that off camera. And I have cut them in half and I'm going to be adding it into the beans later. So I'm just going to combine the beans together now, combine the blended beans and everything together, and it's time for me to start wrapping the blended beans. So once I finish wrapping everything, I'm trying to show you how it looks inside the pot, and here it is. So I'm just going to cover this with the remaining leaves. If you have foil paper, you can use it to cover it. You know, we want this to be steamed, so I'm going to cover it with the excess leaves, and before I'll put the lid of the pot on it. So on the other hand, I've already put a pot of water and the water is already boiled. Now it's time for me to make my pap. You can actually pair moimoi with anything of your choice, but today I decided to pair it with pap, and this is just what I was craving for, this kind of pap. So I'm going to start making the pap right now. So once the pap is done, it should look like this. It is so beautiful and so yummy and creamy. So I'm going to set that aside. Look, our moimoi is already done. So I'm just going to bring this one out and try to open it. So once I open it, this is how it looks. It's not supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be firm, and this is where I call it moimoi go wrong. It actually go wrong because it's not supposed to come out this way. And I'm going to just dish my pap like this. I'm dishing it inside this plate, and I'm adding a little bit of sugar and some powdered milk. So this is how I just want to enjoy this moimoi today. And you guys, trust me, it was so delicious. Even if the moimoi did not come out the way I expected, but it was so good, guys, and I decided to share it with you. Thank you all for watching. If you have watched this video up to this moment, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and also turn on the bell notification so as to get notified each time I upload a new video. Thank you. See you in my next one. Bye.